have a decent single-player storyline this time with some cinematics, and there's some enemies and some protagonists and all that good stuff. But it's not Gears of War level story, but it's fun, and you get to play all the different game types throughout the story, and you get to have a really fun little outcome in the game, and teaches you how to play the game quite well too. Obviously, Unreal Tournament 3 is our big thing. We're going to do a lot of concentration on helping mod makers build some really great stuff. And I think that's something that you know, people always say, even before we ship a game, what's coming next from Epic? Well, if you look back at what we've done in the past, what's coming next from us is more content for this, and more content for Gears, and more, you know, I mean, that's kind of the way we work. I mean, we're not just going to jump on the next game the day after this thing ships. We're going to support it for a while, and hopefully have lots of great free content that you can play. We're going to go out and have a mod contest and get the mod guys really going, and hopefully this will be a game that you play for a long time, that we continue to improve and continue to bring new content for a while. So that's the way we work. I mean, that's why people are always like, oh, you just finished a game, is it time for a sequel? No, we're still supporting the game we just finished. I think this will create a bit of a renaissance for the mod makers, because the opportunity now to bring mods to console. Remember, not all mods are about first-person shooting and about, you know, the kind of game types we have. When we had the last mod contest, we had puzzle games, we had driving games, we had little golf and sports games. I mean, people made all kinds of different stuff, and I think that the idea now that I can make a mod and bring it to console, which is hopefully a huge new audience that I've never had before to try my games, I think that's pretty significant. So I think the net benefit there will be a huge net benefit for the PC guys, because now they'll get all these great new mods, because hopefully the mod guys are more attentive and want to try their hand at PlayStation 3. So we'll see. I mean, it's just a guess, but I mean, I think it's going to be good. I think bringing it to consoles is good for the PC.
And what's your impression? You're one of the few developers who's created sort of a middleware program for both of those systems. What's your impression of the two platforms?
They're both great.
Come on, Mark.
We love all our children.
That's all you're going to say?
Yes.
What has the experience been like working on?
Xbox 360 has been very, very good to us, and PlayStation 3 I think is going to be good to us as well. So that we love them both.
Recently, Sony announced that they were trying to work really closely with you guys on an engine for the PlayStation 3. Why do you think they did that?
I think that's kind of their job if you're going to be a console platform vendors, to work with all developers. They don't just work with Epic, they work with everybody. The same guys that were in our office helping us extract more power out of PlayStation 3 turned around and went to a major publisher working on their Christmas title, you know, the next...
Oh, come on, Mark.
So that's what happens. I mean, I think that's the job. I mean, you want to ensure that all the games on the platform are great, and obviously Unreal Engine 3 represents a decent number of games that are going to be on the PlayStation 3, and it's just great having Sony help us eke more power out of this great machine that they built.
How has that been, actually, working with those guys to get some more juice out of that machine?
It's great. I mean, you know, these guys know it better than anybody else, and they're able to come and help us make our engine a better engine. That's good for us, it's good for our licensees, and obviously, as you can see, it's good for the game. Well, we were working on a couple of different things. There was that Gears of War thing that we were working on as well, and no, it's just I think it just takes time. Plus, let's not forget, this platform came out a year later than the other platforms, so obviously our attention went to Xbox 360 for a while, because that was the platform that was coming first, and that's just a natural order of things. It also takes a while for platforms to mature. It's the same thing, you know, we shipped Gears of War about a year after the Xbox 360, and this game is on schedule to ship hopefully about a year after the PlayStation 3. So that's just kind of the natural order of things for us. We're very high-end technology. We're not a launch title engine. I mean, you wouldn't make a launch title with this. If you're going to make launch titles, you would take your previous generation technology and you would upgrade it as best you can. And that's what you see when you see launch titles. What you see with these second-generation titles are really great-looking, fast-playing, really compelling games that push the envelope in multiple directions. And that's something that we did with Gears of War on 360, and I think we're also doing with Unreal Tournament 3 on PlayStation 3.
Let's talk a little bit about Unreal Tournament 3. Now, eventually it's going to be a PC release as well.
And 360.
Right. Yep. You're going to be able to play cross-platform against people?
I don't think so. We've been talking about that. We've been looking at it. There's nothing in the engine that prevents that from happening. And, of course, we're working with GameSpy, which is cross-platform between PC and PlayStation 3. I guess the biggest issue is just On the PlayStation 3, we have a certification that we have to go through every time we want to do an update. On the PC, we can go fix something 3 hours after we discover it, and we just put a patch out and everybody gets it. So we really don't have that kind of flexibility so much with consoles. Everything has to go through this kind of detailed process, which is good. I mean, that's what makes console games great and reliable and all. But it would just be very complicated to then have cross-platform play because we couldn't always ensure the two versions are exactly the same. So I don't think we're going to have it at launch. Is it something we could do down the road? Maybe when the two games are a little more stabilized on the two platforms? Possible. I wouldn't completely rule it out, but it's not in the plans today.